Hello, everyone. I'm Mackayla, and today we welcome Sorry Mom to the soundtrack of our lives. They are a punk trio from New York City with an album coming out May 12th and an upcoming tour. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Taryn. I am the drummer.
I'm Juno, and I'm the singer and guitarist.
Our bass player, Kari, unfortunately couldn't make it today, but she's a member of our band as well.
Okay, so start off, what are you allowed to say about the album? Like, what can you tell me about it?
Shoot, I guess that's up to us, right? We can kind of say whatever we wanted. It's called Babyface. It's coming out May 12th. We released the full track list last week, so if you wanted to hit up our socials, you could see that there. We had a single come out yesterday for it. It's the last of our 3 promotional singles leading up to the album, so the next thing is just all the rest of the 9 songs next week, which we're super excited about. I think that it pulls from a lot of genres. Obviously, at our heart, we're a punk band, but there's definitely like some indie vibes in there sometimes. We've got some more like alt-rock influences on a couple of our songs, and then some of them are just like really hardcore punk. So I feel like we hit a bunch of different genres, which is kind of new for us. Our first release was very indie. Our singles were a lot more punk, and now we're sort of bringing all those different vibes together for this release, which we're super excited about. From a songwriting perspective, I feel like Juno could speak a bit more to this because they are the principal songwriter of the band. But from a more like sonic perspective, we're exploring some new areas, which is really cool. But I think it still sounds like us, which is great.
That is really cool.
There's a bunch of like, weird, like Karen said, sort of genre-skipping songs. I've been very excited to tell people that we have a country song on the upcoming album, banjo and all.
Oh,
yeah, that's true. I forgot to mention that. We have I've coined the phrase punk tree because it's like punk meets country. So we have a punk tree song on there.
how did you get to that point, like, of adding that into your album?
That's Juno sent us a song, and the way that our songs typically start off is Juno will send literally an iPhone voice memo of them playing something on an acoustic guitar, and it was just them singing an acoustic guitar, nothing like necessarily inherently country. It's not like they sent us a voice memo of them playing a banjo or like playing something like that, but it just had country vibes to it. I don't know, someone that knows more about music theory would probably be able to tell you, but I don't know if it was the melody or like if the way they were strumming had some sort of country vibe to it. I don't know enough about it to tell you why, but I was straight up like, this sounds like a country song. And then I tried to write some sort of drum beat over that emphasized that kind of country vibe that we were pulling from it. And then Juno was like, hey, like we should get a banjo player on this to really lock in the fact that it's kind of country in case anyone was missing it. So we kind of locked that in. But I don't know if Juno, if you intentionally wrote that song to have a kind of countryness to it, or if we just kind of pulled that out after the fact.
I was kind of trying to write a country song. I don't know why. I guess I thought it would be funny. And I already had a different name for it originally. A lot of my songs start without just the title, and then I work from there. And I just really like silly country name picked out. And I just wanted to write something that I could use for that name. And then I ended up changing the name actually. But so I guess that's how it came around.
That's true. Sometimes Juno's like, wouldn't it be funny if we had a song with this name, and then like writes the song based on that.
It's an interesting way to approach the songwriting process. I don't think I've ever heard of anyone approaching it that way.
You know, I don't think I have either. Now that you mention it, what can I say? We're just trendsetters, forging new paths.
I write my songs in a very weird way. I also usually don't spend more than half an hour on a song unless it comes to me really quickly. I usually am just like, that must mean it sucks, and then I completely scrap it.
So in terms of, writing the songs and all that, how did you decide the track list on the album?
I think Juno, they really do stick to this principle of like, if I'm having trouble finishing it, it must be bad. And so they just sort of forget about it or don't play it again. It kind of leaves their mind. So I really think we ended up with these 12 songs because they were the 12 songs that Juno shared with us, which means that they must have gotten through like their filter of like, is it a good song or not? I know Juno writes thousands and thousands of songs that we just don't get to hear because they only kind of share like a finished product with us. So I think that might have been part of it. But Juno, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, I would agree. That is accurate. I don't show most of what I write to anybody, and then usually I end up forgetting it myself, actually, afterwards.
It breaks my heart because I'm like Juno's #1 fan, so I want to hear like all the unreleased Juno songs, but they're like, I literally don't remember. Like it must have been bad because I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure everything they write is great. So I don't know, lost to the sands of time, I guess.
Just wasn't meant to be. How did you decide the name of the album?
The name of the album actually kind of by the same principle. The name of the album came before a lot of the songs did.
Okay.
I don't know. I remember very early on after the first album came out, kind of imagining what our second album would look like, and that was the first name that came to mind. That was it. I just never actually thought of it anymore.
Yeah, I think we kind of worked backwards from like a concept almost. Some of the first songs that were written for this album were like Stoop Kid, Getting Sick, Seafood. And I think that they kind of inherently had some themes of like suburban life and some themes of like growing up. And when we were like, hey, instead of just putting these out as like another small EP or putting out like singles, we could write more songs and turn this into a whole fully fledged album. We kind of had that concept in mind and came up with the name. Dude, I want to say we came up with the name for this album in like the fall of 2021.
Yeah.
Like summer 2022. Yeah. This album name, we've been throwing this album name around for at least a year, if not like a year and a half, and writing a lot of the songs and the lyrics and stuff based on that concept that sort of was born from just like a few singles.
Mm-hmm. Did you do your first album the same way?
Oh, our first album, we did a very weird way, because we weren't planning on being a band or like really continuing. We played together in college. We had only done covers, and then Taryn graduated college, and like we weren't really playing together anymore. But I had some when we had been playing in college, I had some original songs that I'd written, which are the songs that are now on the EP. So like we started playing together and learning. Then Taryn graduated, COVID hit. 2 years later, I was 18 when I wrote the songs and 21 when they came out. Harry hit us up and was like, yo, we could get some free recording time at this like studio I'm working out. Let's do it. Let's make an album. And we did. And we just recorded all of the any song I had written over the course of the like half a year that we were really playing a lot at our school. And we put them out onto that album, just like a random collection, nothing tying them together at all.
Yeah, we did not think anyone was going to hear it. We were like, oh, we're just like a college band, and this will sort of like have something to show for those honestly couple of months we played together in college. I think we had our first practice in like March or April, and then I graduated in May. So we really only had a couple months together in college where we overlapped, but we were like, yeah, let's just, and I don't know. I mean, COVID hit, I graduated in 2019. We didn't record that EP till 2021. Like the songs were so good that they were ringing like through my head for a year and a half. And I kept bugging everyone and being like, you need to record these. Like they're really good. And I've been listening to like the voice memos that I recorded at our practice one time, but like the drums are too loud and there's so much reverb in the room that it sounds terrible. And I just want to be able to like listen to like a nice clean version of it. It was almost like, let's go record it for us and like for friends and family to listen to. I kept telling everyone I was a drummer in a punk band and had nothing to show for it. So I was like, let's just get something recorded. And then the very morning that we put that EP out, we submitted it. We didn't understand how distribution works. You have to submit your final tracks like weeks before they're going to hit Spotify. And we didn't do that. We did it the night before. I was like, oh, it'll go right up on Spotify. That's not how it works. So we put it out on 420, but our distributor was like, no, you need like multiple days. So it hit like the next Friday. It hit Spotify at like 9 a.m. It didn't even hit it at midnight because we had to submit it in time. It hit it at 9 a.m. And then Juno made a TikTok at like 10 a.m. and it went viral by 11 a.m. And I was at work and I was looking at my phone. And when it had hit when the EP had hit Spotify at like 9 a.m., it had like one stream and it was like me listening to it at work. And then by like noon, it had like thousands and thousands of streams. And I was like, who are these people? Like, what is going on? And Juno's viral TikTok just brought our music to a lot of people the very day it came out. And we had never planned on doing anything with this. I knew the songs were so good that I knew we could do something, but it wasn't necessarily put it out to do something. We didn't plan on touring. We didn't plan on becoming a big band. I was just like, these songs are so good. Let's put them out and see what happens. And that morning I was like, we got to do something with this. And that's when we started like planning tour, ordering merch, working on new music. Like this wasn't the plan at all. It was kind of funny how it all came together, but it was very serendipitous and it was kind of divine intervention. So that's why we're where we are, thanks to Juno's TikTok.
We pretty much hopped into it immediately, like 2 days after the album came out on Spotify. People were like, do you guys have shirts? Do you guys have CDs? And we were like, yeah, we can. And we like immediately started making CDs, fucking show. It was like,
yeah,
like the same week because we were like, oh shit, can we do this now? It was very exciting.
And I feel like with social media, like for you to go viral, you kind of have to strike gold. And I always think like if we hadn't uploaded the EP late and it had actually come out on like the 20th on that Wednesday, like maybe the TikTok you made on the 20th wouldn't have gone viral. Like I feel like you made it at the right moment. Like it all was very, I don't know, the chips had to fall in a really specific way for everything to work the way it did. So kind of funny looking back on it.
Definitely a stroke of luck.
So can you talked a little bit about how you formed, but can you speak more on that?
Yeah, so Juno, I feel like you always talk more about this, where like we're kind of trying to be like an antithesis band to like the music culture at our school.
Yeah, so there was a pretty like decent music like scene sort of happening at our tiny like Connecticut college that we went to.
What college?
And was actually called Connecticut College.
Okay. You know, I'm in Massachusetts, so.
Oh, nice.
You've never heard of con, I promise. Everyone's like, oh, UConn. We're like, no, Connecticut College.
I think I had a cousin go there, actually, so.
I was like 2,000 kids at the whole school. Nothing was big. There was a group called Mob Rock, which was like all the bands on campus. We're like part of this club, and they throw shows in this barn called The Barn. And there was like a pretty cool music scene like over the first couple of years there. But the thing was that there was like not a single woman involved, like at all, to like kind of a ridiculous degree where when one tried to get involved, it seemed like everyone got really mad. And so we thought, well, it would kind of be fun to make a band that was like also like no men involved, and then if we could use that to get into the bar and play pranks on them, which is sort of what we did for all of college.
Yeah, we just wanted to make a band that had no men in and just play the music that we want to play and sort of create space for ourselves where there wasn't really space. We kind of had to force our way in and wiggle around until we had enough room. So that's kind of how it started. We were like, damn, look at all these all-male bands on campus. Like, let's just get a ragtag group of people together and make sure none of them are men and just start a band. Like, Juno and I didn't know each other at all. It wasn't even like Juno and I were friends and we were like, let's play music together. There was another person who was like, knew sort of all of us a little bit. And I am actually pretty sure that she walked up to Juno in like the dining hall and was like, you don't have to play like an instrument, do you? Like looking for a guitar player. And Juno like didn't really play guitar, but was like, yeah, I play guitar. And then was like, shit, now guitar. Like, I have a guitar. I don't know how to play it. Yeah, it was really just wasn't supposed to be a serious thing, but here we are today, which is awesome.
That is awesome. Sounds like a very fun way to start, just about enjoying making the music that you want, which is really cool.
Yeah, we didn't necessarily start out with like, we have to be the biggest band ever and we have to write like the best original songs. We were just like, let's play covers of songs that we really like and let's just have fun playing together. And that was a really wonderful way to just get started and have that foundation. And eventually, obviously, Juno started writing original songs and we started learning those and writing those and playing those. But having the foundation of just enjoying playing music together and having it be silly and not so serious was really great for us.
So can you talk a little bit about how your personal experience influenced your music?
Feel like I can talk about drumming, but it would probably be more interesting if Juno talked about songwriting.
I want to hear both.
Oh, yeah, I have a good answer for that. Almost not at all. At least for the first EP, I've had a lot of people over the last 2 years tell me that like they have felt super connected to songs on that EP, that they feel like I'm writing something that like sees them, or like it's like they can like feel like share experiences through it. At least on the EP, all of the songs were just kind of like off the top of my head, like none of them actually were about anything real that's happened to me. I think that I usually am like, I have a lot of trouble writing about real life scenarios to myself, so I kind of invent, what if this really sad thing happened, and then I write a song about it. I guess the one real thing that like claimed that is my older brother was in a band when I grew up, and I spent a lot of time with him and watching his band play. And I definitely try to emulate a lot of what he was doing when he was my age when I write. So
if you do want to hear about drumming, which
yes.
One thing that kind of influences at least like my drumming style is when I was in college and I was trying to like be in a band because I'd always played the drums and I really wanted to be in one. At one point I joined this group and they were like, let's cover like, indie rock songs like The Strokes. And I was like, hell yeah, like let's do it. I love The Strokes. And we were playing this song by The Strokes and covering it. And the dude was like the front man. First of all, was playing an acoustic guitar. So I don't know why we're covering The Strokes with an acoustic guitar, but he kept stopping practice to turn around and be like, you're playing too loud. And I was like, it's the drums. Like, you're going to be a little loud. Why are you playing an acoustic guitar? I was like, we're playing The Strokes. Yeah, use your guitar acoustic. And he just he stopped me like 7 or 8 times and was like, you need to be quieter. You really need to play quieter. Like you are playing way too loud. And I was like, by the end of it was like so frustrated that I was almost in tears. And I was like, as a joke, I started playing it like super lightly. And I was like, oh, is this quiet enough for you? And he was like, actually, yeah, that's perfect. Like dead ass. He was like, oh, that's perfect actually. And I was like, you're not really looking for a drummer. Like you just want to sit there with your acoustic guitar. And I just remember being like, I just want to play music with people that like let me play my drums as like hard and loud as I want to. Like it's the fucking drums. Like that's what we should be doing. So punk music was just something that I was always drawn to because I feel like you can do whatever you want in punk music. People love when you play like fast and loud and you smash your instrument. So I feel like that's something that influenced my style, is like being told to be quieter. And I was like, no, now I'm actually going to be even louder. So that's something that shaped my personal experience, at least from a drumming perspective. Now I have hearing loss, actually. So what are you going to do? Trade it.
Is what it is.
Yeah. Fighting the patriarchy, hearing loss. It's
Which one is more
they go
important?
hand in hand. Yeah.
Yeah. So, your band you're going on tour. So what are you most excited about for this tour?
I'm most excited for people to hear all the new songs. We have been playing shows since 2021. It's now 2023. So for 2 years, we've been playing shows, really just like our EP, our singles, a couple fun covers. A couple of the songs from this album, we were like, oh, we can't not play them anymore. So a couple of them we've played live if you've heard us play live in the last 2 years. But I'm just excited to play some new songs. I think that they're so good. Juno's songwriting has the EP was also fucking great, but the songwriting is like, I didn't even know that Juno could become a better songwriter because the EP was so good, but now these songs are somehow even better. And I don't know, I just love them all. So I'm so excited for everyone to hear them. And I feel like we try to record with a lot of energy too, but something about a live show, like live music, it just has such a different like vibe and element to it, being right there in the room while the music's being created and played. So I'm super excited to share in that moment with people and have them hear the new songs.
I'm excited for the van. This is our first tour, so we've never like been a van together before, and I don't know. I'm excited. I think it's gonna make me feel like I want a Warped Tour in 2012. We was like the van.
Mm-hmm. I know we definitely have to vlog.
Most importantly, is there going to be a live banjo?
Yes, good question. I don't know if they'll be at every single show, but
oh yeah, not every show.
Yeah,
we are confirmed banjo for at least 2 shows.
That's exciting.
Yeah, if you're going to come see us in Connecticut, where our banjo player lives, he's going to be there for sure. And then New York, Juno,
and Boston College.
I'm trying to get tickets to that.
Yeah,
you should. You definitely should. It's going to be super great. So yeah, I think if he's going to be there, then that's 3 shows locked in. So unfortunately, he wasn't able to travel with us for the rest of them. But those shows are, luckily he's in Connecticut. It's pretty central to both New York and Boston. So he's popping in for those other 2 shows too.
That's cool. I was just, wondering because that's such a unique thing for, to just have a live.
Yeah.
I feel like not a lot of musicians in general have a live banjo at a concert.
Yep.
This specific banjo player was honestly the inspiration for the banjo on this song because I was in his apartment once and he was like playing banjo in the other room while I was in class and I was like, yeah. I was just like getting crazy. I was like, this banjo is lighting me on fire. And that's when I went home. I was like, I'm writing a song and with a banjo on it and a wood block and a kazoo. Like I got very fired about country music that day.
We do have a wood block on there. We didn't end up putting a kazoo in there, did we?
I don't know. I don't think we did.
You should bring it live, maybe.
I can bring it live.
Yeah, we can do a little live kazoo. Yeah, that's going to be really cool. We're trying to like bring really cool elements into it that we haven't before. We got a bunch of new merch. One of the things that we're going to do at the shows is we're going to have a temporary tattoo station. We ordered a bunch of like Sorry Mom custom temporary tattoos and they just came in the mail yesterday. There's a big bag of them. I haven't opened them yet, but if I had, I would show you, but they're over there and I'd have to cut them open and it would take me a minute. But I think that's gonna be super fun. So if you're there before the show, you can come up to the merch table and get tatted up. We have a bunch of them, and then you can enjoy the show with your little Sorry Mom temporary tattoos.
So where did the name come from?
I think the name was just sort of born from this idea that like when you're playing punk music, like usually your parents can hate it, and you're loud and you're obnoxious, and you're playing in their basement, and phrase you're probably repeating pretty much over and over again is like "Sorry Mom," "Sorry Dad," and you just sort of rolled with. I think it just has such a punk vibe to it. Like anytime people are like, oh, you're in a punk band, what's your name? I'm like, Sorry Mom. And they're like, that's a fucking perfect name for a punk band. I think it just had the right vibe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's a cool name.
Yeah, we actually had the name before we started playing together.
The name was picked out before I was even asked to join.
Yeah, it was something that, it was interesting that we kind of already had like our branding before we had anything else. We had our branding before we had our band members. And then certainly before we had any original music. So it's really interesting to look back and think on that the identity of this band was really solid from the start.
Like there's old posts on like our Instagram account from before we'd ever played show live or like ever written a song. And they're still like written in the same tone. And it's like still us like with our logo and like the same jokes we make now.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny to look back on.
So how has being a band helped you guys grow like in your music, if that makes sense?
That does make sense. I think I'm going to answer your question wrong, and I'm sorry in advance.
I don't think there's a wrong answer because it's personal.
I think being in a band has helped me grow. Maybe not like, obviously I've grown musically, but it's also helped me grow as a band member. And I know it almost doesn't make sense, but I guess what I'm trying to say is like one thing that we are super proud of is that we're a DIY band. And we're not just like, oh, we're DIY because like we write our own songs. Like we're DIY because Juno hand block prints our merch.
Wow.
We're DIY because we booked this upcoming tour is going to be the first time we play a show that we haven't booked. Every show up until this tour, I would go to work. I'd work a normal 9 to 5. And after work, I would sit in my room and I would Google venues near me. I would find the best email addresses to contact people. I had a massive spreadsheet and I'd fire off cold emails every single night after work. Like, here's who we are. You can listen to our music. We'd love to play a show at your venue. We would like DM bands and be like, hey, you're coming to our city. Like, we'd love to open for you. I'd say that works like a third of the time, which is actually pretty good. We engineer our own music. So we are our own recording engineers. I mixed and mastered our first EP. Kari mixed our album and I mastered this upcoming album. I mean, we run our social media. We kind of do our own marketing. Juno does all of our art designs for our merch. We have a couple merch designs that were done by like a guest artist that we brought in for the first time ever. But up until this point, every single aspect of this band and every single aspect of our music is 100% us. There's nobody else that has ever stepped in. No management, no booking agent, no other artists, no recording engineers, no songwriters. Like, we are doing this all on our own.
And also, to Taryn's credit, no lawyers, no attorneys, and somehow still in that time, mostly due to Taryn's hard work, we have a business LLC.
Yeah.
Now, like, we do our taxes. I've never done a tax in my fucking life, but yeah, just no one else but us has touched anything up until genuinely about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I've got these shows booked.
And it's not like I had all these skills lying around and just ended up like using them for the band. Like, none of us really knew how to do any of this, but we learned on the spot and we learned on the fly. And I think being in this band has caused us to grow in a lot of ways that actually aren't musical, because when you're trying to make it as a band and grow as a band, the music is arguably the most important part of it. It's the foundation of everything. But if you're not able to do all those other things, it's going to be really hard for you to be successful. You have to do as much as you can on your own in order to kind of really start to make it. So it just kind of forced us to learn all these other things that weren't just music. And I think that that has been the biggest growth I feel being a part of this band. And I think it's what's helped all of us be more successful. I'm sure we've grown musically too, though, but...
I would agree on that. For me, I never wrote a song until I was in Sorry Mom, so...
Oh my God, that's true.
Yeah, so I feel like, I don't know, it hasn't changed me as a musician, it just made me one, because I wasn't one before. I never did any of that shit before.
We were covering songs and we were Googling, like, chords for this song, because, like, we didn't know how to play music. And then you just started writing original songs.
And then half the time I'd look at the chords and I'd be like, man, I can't do that one. And we'd just be like, all right, new song.
Because it's a different one that we can play. And now you're writing insane songs. That's crazy. My mind just was blown when you said that. I kind of forgot you had never written a song before we started playing together. It's crazy.
Well, I wrote my mom a song for a Christmas present when I was like 11 and I have it on CD. It's just like, Mom, the best Christmas present is you.
Oh, we should put that out as a Christmas song.
Yeah, we could rewrite it.
That would be really funny.
So if you'd never written a song before, how did it come to you the first time that you did write a song?
We were just like in the band and I was honestly a little embarrassed that everyone else was playing songs that they'd written. And I was like, fuck you guys, let me write a song. And I just like sat down with the intention of writing a song and then just sort of did as though I was like doing homework. Like, I didn't like dig through my like emotions or like experiences. I was just like, all right, this song has like a verse and then like a chorus, like a bridge, and this rhymes. And I literally just like did it like I was filling out a worksheet. And that's how I wrote the entire first EP. I was like, you just have a melody and I find like da-da-da-da-da. Okay, that's fine. I can do the guitar. Like, I literally did it like in this homework. There was like nothing emotional about it. I was just like embarrassed that I didn't have any songs yet.
Junior's just naturally gifted.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy because I was listening to your songs and they're really good. But I just can't imagine you not writing a song before you started.
Besides Merry Christmas, Mom.
Right, sorry. I forgot your number one hit.
I forgot. Yeah, exactly.
Was it? Taryn, do you remember if it was Meth Head or Like a Body that was first? Because I don't.
It was Officer, That's Not Mine first. But Like a Body was shortly after. And I'm so sad. I know that I recorded what we used to do so we didn't waste practice time is that if Juno did write a song, I would have them play it on just their guitar. I would record it on my iPhone. And then I would on my own go write the drums later. So I wasn't wasting practice time trying to write a drum beat. So I have these old voice memos on my phone and I don't have the Officer That's Not Mine one anymore. I don't know where it went. I know I wouldn't have deleted it. So I'm super bummed out, but I do have the Like a Body one. But I do know that Officer came first. I think it was April 2019.
The Like a Body one is very funny.
It is. It's it's maybe one day we'll just put that on leak it on YouTube or something.
Or like Bandcamp. We could totally like it on Bandcamp. On my secret Bandcamp account.
Yep, I have it right here. Whole song, April 17th, 2019. 4 minutes and 48 seconds. I think we were playing it a lot slower. We were like talking in the beginning for like 2 minutes. Crazy. We should put that out.
But yeah, can you text me that actually? I want to hear that.
Yeah, I'm going to text it to you. I want to see if I can find the officer one. I'm devastated that it appears.
You're such an archivist. Tara's always like pulling out documents from like years past. Of like, I'm like, do you happen to like there was this one like, do you remember this time? There's like this one sheet of lined paper that when I wrote like a body, I wrote the chords for it on there, and then I couldn't remember the chords for like maybe the next 2 to 3 years, and Tara has to dig up like this ancient ass sheet of loose leaves every time I wanted to play the song, and it was like quite literally disintegrating, so we had to take a picture of the disintegrating paper and every time Tara would have to like mail it to me every time we wanted to play it.
No, that literally is true. Because I remember, I don't know why I'm crying, that's so funny. I was hanging on to this piece of paper. Oh my god.
It was getting to the point where, like, because it had been folded so many times, I could no longer read the chords for, like, one of the lines, which shouldn't have mattered. It's a 4-chord song. It repeats over and over. But for some reason, my brain, unless that paper was in front of me, the song was, like, hieroglyphs. Like, I just couldn't do it. It was like, we get security play. You need to bring it to all our shows with us.
I remember with Like a Body, because I had a picture of it, because I sent a picture to my mom one day. Because I was like, Juno wrote this awesome song. Like, look at the lyrics. Like, they're so cool. I'm obsessed with this song. And my mom was like, is Juno okay? And I was like, yeah, I think so. So anytime you ask me for the picture, I would scroll back through my texts with my mom and go into like, you can press info and you can like scroll through the pictures, because I knew I sent it to her once, and that's how I would always find it.
That's so funny.
And then when I clicked on it, that little text would always come up, which is like, are they okay? It's like, yeah, they just write awesome songs. It's not about anything real.
It's all a lie.
It's all a lie. They've never cut their hair with a knife. Don't worry about it.
No.
Although, honestly, maybe you have.
No. I have nice shears.
Oh, yeah. Shears. Cut my hair with some shears. Ah.
So that. Now it looks great.
Yeah. Actually, it does look really good today. Good job.
Thanks.
I don't even know why I forgot your question. I'm so sorry. I think we just went on a huge tangent.
I don't even know what my question was either. That's okay. We can move on. So how do you deal with trying to implement diversity, or, you know, overcoming the lack of diversity in the punk rock scene?
I don't know. It's hard. I feel like there's at this point not much that we've been able to do other than just be there and be like as annoying, take up as much space as possible. Personally, I make sure that I don't write any songs about men. I don't feel the need to. It's kind of embarrassing, to be frank, for me. So I don't write any songs about men. My songs are centered around men, or like the need for like male validation. We try to, as much as we can, play with bands that are non-men, and which is not always easy. Sometimes it's actually very frustrating when we're like trying to play a show, we cannot find and the venue can't tell us of a single local opener with a woman in the band, and it's like, you've got to know one, just tell me. And then we have to like do an insane like Instagram hunt trying to be like woman, girl, like lesbian.
Yeah, I think we do try to like uplift and like connect ourselves with like artists and bands and anyone we can, really, that is non-male or that is queer too. We're really proud of being like a queer femme punk band. So anytime that we can try to incorporate people from that community in our community, kind of bring them along with us, we really try to. I think like, for example, with our tour, we're bringing Froggy with us, so they're opening for every show, and they're another queer femme punk band. They're from Philly. So I think just anytime we're doing something and we need to bring on some sort of partner or other band or really anything that we need, we really actively try to look for people that don't fall into the typical like white cis male musician bucket. Yeah. We try to dip into like any other bucket, and not to say like you can be a white cis male and you can make really great music, but it's
I get what you're saying.
And dominated by that demographic that we want to uplift other people that fall into other demographics. We're kind of fighting to do that for ourselves, and we want to try to fight to do that for other artists, because it's hard to do that. It really is. So there's a lot of just internal bias in this industry, and we're trying to uplift as many people as we can.
Yeah. So we're a women-run podcast. It kind of happened that way. I wasn't planning for it to be just women. It's just only women wanted to be part of it. So now we're a women-run podcast, which is kind of cool.
Yep. Yeah, we also try to foster that community within our own fan base as well. So we try to like help uplift and support other artists, but also like within our fan base, we want them to know that that's a space where they can be safe, they can feel comfortable, they can feel safe and comfortable with each other. One thing that we do is we run an annual zine. So we've done it the last 2 years, 2021, 2022. We'll definitely do it this year. I think we kind of want to do it every year. It's really cool because we crowdsource art from our fans and we pick like the best ones. We try to fit all of it in there, but we try to keep it like regular zine length. They like art and photography and writing and poetry and lyrics, and we put it all together, and then we always donate all the proceeds from it to charity, and we match the donations too. So that's one way that we try to like also sort of uplift. Like a lot of the times the charity has to do like with queer people and with things that impact our community. So or like women. I think in 2022 we were donating to the National Network of Abortion Funds. So really trying to sort of foster a sense of like community and caring about each other and connecting with each other through art and music and social issues within our own fan base too. So it's always cool to meet people that are within that community and that sort of can share that, and we try to connect them with each other.
Yeah, that's really cool. I didn't know about the zine. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the zine is awesome. All of our previous issues are still up for sale on our Bandcamp, and 100% of it goes to whichever charity that particular zine is dedicated to. So the first one was the Massachusetts Bail Fund, because I'm also from Massachusetts. And then the second one is the National Network of Abortion Funds. And then the third one, we have to get our zine committee together to figure out what we're going to do for this year. The zine committee is just me, Kari, and Juno. But instead of being band members, we're zine committee in that moment. And we're going to have to get together for this year. Different hat, exactly. But yeah, it's a really cool, fun thing that we love to do. And I think our fans really like it too. And they get to talk about their art and feel more connected to each other also, which is really great.
Juno, what's the name of your dog?
That's Basil. Gets very excited when I come home, which is why he's jumping all over now.
So cute.
He's cool. He's only got one eye.
He's got one eye. He used to have two.
What happened?
A German Shepherd attacked him.
Oh.
And then he had one regular eye and one like giant swollen blind eye, and then we got the eye removed. Now he only has one eye.
That's terrifying.
Oh, so he did actually develop a beautiful friendship with said German Shepherd afterwards. So it's really a happy story on all fronts.
Minus losing an eye.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, honestly, losing an eye was kind of huge for him though, because like people always stop him on the street, and like also he was like about to get put down when I rescued him. It was like actually the night of. My landlord ran a little like animal shelter out of our apartment, which was weird. But one day he was just like getting this like ugly, like fucked up dog like into this ugly little sweater. And I was like, "Where's that dog going?" And he was like, "Man, this dog is like so fucked up, like attacked by a German Shepherd, and now nobody wants it, so I'm just gonna go put it down." And I was like, "Give it to me," and now I have him. And he's like, he gets compliments from girls on the street.
He's like Fetty Wap.
Except which we almost named him. We almost named him after like multiple one-eyed celebrities. Like Slick Rick, that came very close to being his name because Slick Rick only had one eye.
But a household herb was the next best thing.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was a handsome name.
It is. And Juno's like a chef, so I feel like it also works well. Connects you guys.
Here he is. Here's me talking about him.
Oh, there's the one. And the other side
cute.
is just like a patch of fur that like if you touch it, it's kind of soft and it's kind of strange. He's so cute.
Oh.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's very cuddly.
Is he going on tour with you guys?
No, I think he might get a vacation with my mom. Like go to grandma's house. Not sure yet. Not sure what I'm doing with him. Maybe my roommates can look after him.
Be the mascot of the band.
I would love it if you could come with us. I just don't think all the hotels we're staying at would be dog friendly.
Yeah, that could be an issue.
Or the venues.
Stopping the van on the highway so we can pee.
That would actually be awesome.
Okay, and so I have the last question, and it is, you can answer it together or separately, and there's no right or wrong answer to it. What is the soundtrack of your life? So you can answer it collectively as your band or separately as individuals.
Would like an album that we like?
Is it more of an abstract question?
We just like to see what people say. So I can't
know you do. I know.
However you interpret it.
For me, it would be screaming and yelling. My family's really abrasive, and we all talk over each other a lot. So my house is like a really overwhelming place to be in. So I'd say like woman yelling at me, but not in like a negative way, just like to get my attention. That would be
I want to say something really profound. I want to give the best answer that's ever been given, and I'm really struggling with it.
I mean, all answers are interesting because it just gives you an insight into that person.
The only thing I can think of is that because I have hearing loss from drumming, I have a little bit of tinnitus, and so I'm listening to it right now. There's always a ringing coming out of my ears, and I think that might have to be the soundtrack to my life. Is that whenever I'm not speaking or whenever there's no other noise going on, that's all I hear. So maybe that.
You guys are actually the first people to not give songs.
We're so cool. Okay, we did do something profound.
You did.
Nice.
It's just so interesting because everybody interprets it differently and everybody's face is always interesting to watch.
a great question.
Because nobody is expecting it.
No, I wasn't expecting it at all. I liked it though. It's a good question.
So yeah, thank you guys so much for coming and talking to us. Do you want to drop your socials so our listeners can find you?
Yes. Unfortunately, it's different. So for the most part, we're at, actually not even for the most part, on Instagram, we're at Sorry Mom the Band. On Facebook, we're Sorry Mom. I think on Tumblr, we're also Sorry Mom the Band. We have a Tumblr. And then on Twitter, we're Sorry Mom Punk, because we used to be Sorry Mom the Band. And then Juno got that Twitter account banned permanently from Twitter.
Oh no.
Because someone was tweeting about how they were using soap to clean their cast iron skillet, and Juno replied and said and threatened to kill them for using soap on their cast iron.
I sent a number of death threats over an egregious how to wash your cast iron tutorial.
So
you don't use Dawn. It's not a baby duck in an oil spill. It's a delicate piece of metal. Like
Chef Juno with the cast iron advice.
Yeah, so how do you suggest washing your cast iron skillet?
Water. That's all you need. Just water. You can use have a designated brush. That's a scrub brush for it. To get any grease or chunks of food out, and then you can, if it gets gross or you feel like it's still not clean, you just put it on the stove on low heat and you can reseason it, which is you would just cook some water in it. You could use, sometimes if you don't mind the flavor, depending on what you're cooking in there, you can use a little vinegar, and then you just reseason it with more oil and salt, and you cook it into the pan, and it gets through anything that's bad. Never soap.
Use hot water.
Yeah, I mean, you can use any kind of water.
Cool.
But you can do it over the heat on a stovetop.
Okay.
Have it on low heat for 30 minutes and be using a brush to remove things.
Thank you.
Thanks. That's very important information that we all need.
No problem.
That way we don't get death threats from you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we have to find another Twitter handle. Yet another Twitter handle. I don't know how many more we have left in us.
I was just recently allowed to relog into the Twitter.
You were banned for a year. But you weren't really banned. You were just I'm not going to log into that one.
Well, because I was afraid that if I logged in with my foot. Well, I hadn't had so many Twitter accounts banned at that point for sending so many death threats on the internet. And I was that Twitter had my IP address because I tried to make a different account and the different with somebody else's email, but it was on my phone, and when it recognized it was my phone, it also blocked that one. It's okay though. I'm good now. I have a new phone, so
won't tell Twitter.
Hi. So is that all the socials? We kind of stopped in the middle.
Oh, yeah, that is all of them.
Facebook, Tumblr. Oh, we're on YouTube. We're just Sorry Mom on YouTube. That's everything. I think we have a Reddit, but that's not really ours. That's the fans account. It's the community's account.
There's a subreddit.
We definitely made a Be Real, but we never use it. But maybe we should use it on tour.
That could be cool.
Yeah, I think we should. It's connected to Juno's phone number, so every time I want to use it, because you can only make one Be Real per phone number, and you have
it must be Kari. I've never.
No, because I would text you and be like, can you send me the 6-digit code you just got? And I guess maybe I never told you what.
Weird.
Just send me the code though every time.
Because I've never had the Be Real app.
Yeah, you've never had it. We used your phone.
So yeah, thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm very excited to hear the album, as I'm sure you guys are excited for it to be out.
I hope that you like it.
I'm sure I will.
Cool, sweet. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you for joining us, and make sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at STO Lives Podcast.